After a little bit of a hiatus, or a little bit of a gap between our last episode and this one, we are back once again with another edition of Let's Play WCW 2000. And we are right at the final episode of Nitro before WCW Night of Legends, where we will see the WCW World Heavyweight Championship on the line, with Ric Flair going up against the WCW Heavyweight Champion, Scott Steiner. I was going to say Ric Flair was going up against himself, even though Ric Flair could probably get a good match facing himself. He's facing Scott Steiner. So, either way, that's this Sunday, and as you can see, we have a big card for tonight on Nitro. So let's jump right into this week's episode, as this, actually, before we jump into this week's episode, I want to actually bring up something, and that is recently, or at this point it might have been a couple weeks ago, but recently I started, I guess you could say, I started a post series on the website where I give an inside perspective on the Let's Play series, like the inside, sort of the inside WWE series. I mean, the inside, I think it was inside WWE or TNA, or that's that type of things, like I used to do with the Let's Play series as an episode of the Let's Plays, or how I would book it I did it with TNA, I did it with WWE in the original series, but now I'm moving it over here because actually I think the best way to explain it is, right here is where you get your emails in this game. You get the emails from, road agents, other wrestlers, etc., etc., about all things that happen backstage. What I would do with the series is give you an inside look on what is going on backstage, who could be getting released, what changes could be being made for the company, and also the end date for certain Let's Play series. But what the point of me bringing this up is that this is the first episode with the new direction. Just like the next episode of TNA will be the first episode with the new direction. Because that's why I took gave it a short gap in between the two series, and in between the last episode and this one, because I needed to change the direction. And that's the same reason with TNA. I needed to change the direction. So, this is the first episode with the new direction for WCW, and let's see if the new direction gives us a little bit more positive energy than the original one. So either way, we jump into it first, and I'm going to go through this quick. Buff Bagwell against Tony Mamaluke in the pre-show, and Buff Bagwell gets the victory over Tony Mamaluke. The Harris twins defeat Big Vito and Johnny the Bull in the second match on the pre-show, as the Harris brothers get a rare victory. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. After feuding with Medusa, and basically me pulling the feud, pretty much, due to the idea of a man fighting a woman in WCW. Now Disco Inferno comes up short against Jim Duggan in the third and final pre-show match here tonight on Nitro. So now we head to the opening match, and it is a WCW tradition. It is the match of the cruiserweights, with Dean Malenko, Berlin, and Lash LaRue going up against La Parka and Prince Iaukea. La Parka, Kaz Hayashi, and Prince Iaukea, I apologize. in the opening 6-man tag team match for Monday Nitro. What does this gain? Well, it gives guys like Lash LaRue his first win of the new millennium. And now we jump into the opening angle for the show, and of course, the opening angle of the show involves NWO 2000, and if you want to know why Scott Hudson's there, it is because Scott Hall isn't. Now let me explain. The reason why Scott Hudson is there is because I didn't feel like using Gene for it, so I just gave Scott Hudson the interview spot just to see how he did. And, well, Hogan, Steiner, Kevin, and Jarrett proved exactly why they don't need an interviewer. But either way, the match is made for later tonight. Hulk Hogan versus Jeff Jarrett in the main event of Nitro. But that's later, that's later tonight. And now we move forward as the next match sees Dr. Death Steve Williams make his return to the WCW. And Dr. Death defeats Tank Abbott. I know most of you would say, or some of you might say, well, why would you waste Tank Abbott versus Dr. Death in his return to the company? Dr. Death got a 47 in-ring performance, and Tank Abbott got a 45. The overall rating got a 49. It doesn't matter if I put it on pay-per-view. It doesn't matter if I put it on Thunder. It doesn't matter where I put it, when I did it. It just matters that either way, at this point in his career, Dr. Death isn't the talent that he once was. And that's why it doesn't matter. Even though it would have been a good brawl and it probably would have been a decent match, you see the first phrase, in a poor match, it's because they're not who they... Well, it's because Dr. Death isn't half of what he was in his prime. But either way, we move forward as Mike Sanders bumps into Eddie Guerrero backstage and Mike Sanders actually gives Eddie Guerrero his card. That's right. Mike Sanders, life coach, gives Eddie Guerrero, or career coach rather, Mike Sanders gives Eddie Guerrero his card and says, alone, you are not United States champion. With me, you could be WCW World Champion. Here's my card. Give me a call sometime. Booker T shows exactly why he was slowly but surely moving forward in his career as a singles wrestler going into the 2000 campaign, as he achieved the best in-ring performance thus far out of anybody with a 72, and actually also put forth a pretty good match against Bryan Adams, gaining a 66, the first 60 of this episode of Nitro. Yes, this in a way could be dropping hints at what will likely happen eventually with Booker T, Harlem Heat against the Outsiders, but I will tell you that that's not going to happen until for at least another month. So you'll have another month of Harlem Heat being together as a tag team. And now we move to a pre-recorded interview spot. See, Sam from Pro Wrestling Nation made mention to this in our 2004 Let's Play, that he feels like companies don't make use of the interview spot like this, like Michael Cole does on the WWE.com every week. I honestly don't know if he still does it. If he does, God bless Michael Cole and God bless WWE for staying consistent. But either way, this goes back to something that WWE did in 1998 or 1997, one of those, with Mick Foley, where Mick Foley sat down with Jim Ross in a 3-week or couple week interview spot, detailing his career and how he got to where he is. Fact of the matter is, Mike today a pre-recorded interview with Diamond Dallas Page, very similar to I think it was Mike's interview with Vince Russo around this time in real life. But Diamond Dallas Page talks about Randy Savage and also talks about Kimberly. So, puts even more so in perspective how important this match is this Sunday, live on pay-per-view at Night of the Legends between Randy and Diamond Dallas. And yes, this Thursday on Thunder, you will also be hearing from Randy Macho Man Savage in the same sort of style, with Mike today being the interviewer, much like he did, or having a sit-down interview with Randy Savage on Thunder, just like he did with Diamond Dallas on Nitro. And now we move to the fresh feud, as Screaming Norman Smiley goes up against Eddie Guerrero, and Eddie Guerrero gets the victory. Shocker there. But from out of nowhere, Mike Sanders shows up on. Mike Sanders tries to jump Eddie, but Eddie, wait, how would this work? Mike Sanders jumps Eddie with a weapon. And then Eddie starts fighting back. But just as Eddie starts fighting back, Norman Smiley jumps in, and Norman Smiley helps his career coach take down Guerrero in a 2-on-1 assault on the United States champion by the television champion and his career coach. So this is, as I mentioned in the previous segment, this is the start of something new between Eddie Guerrero and Norman Smiley, TV champion versus United States champion. But now we go once again to the Total Package Challenge, as Lex Luger issues an open challenge to anyone backstage to come out and face the Total Package. And the challenge is accepted by the veteran Marty Jannetty. And Jannetty puts up a pretty good fight in a surprisingly good match between him and Lex Luger. If I showed you Lex Luger's stats, that's why. If I showed you his stats, you'd be able to tell why I'm surprised him and Marty Jannetty were able to pull out a 67. But who am I to say? Now we move to the next segment, as once again, Bam Bam Bigelow, this time around, Bam Bam Bigelow isn't calling out Terry Funk. He's talking about his assault on the Funker last week on Nitro, and why Terry put this on himself by ignoring him and pacifying his duties as WCW commissioner and putting them ahead of his pride, and really displaying just how much of a coward that Terry Funk has become. And Bam Bam Bigelow once again goes on to say that he said it before and he'll say it again. This title reign, no matter how long I hold it, will mean nothing if I can't add credibility to this title and to this division. And I do exactly that by defeating a hardcore legend. So Funk, drop the act Drop your duties as commissioner and be a man. Stand up and be a man and defend this division and defend this title. And try and take it from me. Try and do what nobody else has been able to do since I won this championship belt. And that's defeat the Beast from the East. I'll see you at Night of Legends. Funk. Whether or not you're there is up to you, you brittle old man. Well, just to put four guys who are never really used and have really nothing going on television. And I actually think it's 50-50 that this was a hardcore match, to be honest with you. Yes, it was a hardcore match, and the American Nightmare won the hardcore match. Honestly, I don't know what I'm doing with this feud, so ignore this segment. And now we move to the next match as Hulk Hogan competes in his first match back from his, I believe it was temporary retirement, but I could be wrong. There is no hidden meaning or anything like that as to why Hulk faced Jeff Jarrett in his return back to the company. It is just because of the fact that, well, I'm not going to make him first Kevin because of the history that him and Hulk have, and I'm not going to make him first the WCW World Heavyweight Champion. So Jeff Jarrett was the only NWO member that Hulk could actually face, and that is why Hulk faced Jeff. But either way, look who interfered. Jeff Jarrett was disqualified when Bret Hart ran in and attacked Hollywood Hulk Hogan, causing the disqualification for Jeff Jarrett and allowing Hulk Hogan to get the victory in his return to the company. Oh yeah, I forgot I was going to flip him babyface. Well, like I said, plans change. And that is because Bret Hart is back as the manager of the New World Order. And I'll tell you why Bret Hart's back as the manager. Because, for those of you who don't know, Bret Hart sustained an injury at a very severe concussion at Starrcade 1999 due to a super kick from Goldberg. And due to the fact that Bret did not end up taking any time off from the injury, he was forced to retire from the injury. Now, because of how I chose to do it, could I end up actually making Bret come back? Yes. Yes, I actually could end up making Bret come back. Why is that? Simply put, because I had Bret take time off. I had Bret take time off. Because I ran the angle the first week, or back in January week 1, that saw Bret Hart pass out in the middle of the ring. In the middle of the ring, Bret Hart passed out, which led to the WCW World Heavyweight Championship being vacated, and led to a tournament at WCW Mayhem at the end of the month to crown the new WCW Heavyweight Champion, which was won by fellow NWO member Scott Steiner. And then Bret Hart did not show up again after Mayhem, where he crowned Scott Steiner the WCW Heavyweight Champion. He has not been seen on WCW programming in over a month. And now you won't find out on Thunder, or you may not find out on Thunder, but you also may find out on the pay-per-view why, after a month away, Bret Hart has chosen now to return to the WCW and join back up with his New World Order brethren. But either way, as the show closes, Hitman and Jeff Jarrett are celebrating in the ring, almost like they duped everyone. But I don't know. I mean, it made sense when I did the segment, but I don't really know why I did it. I think I made a mistake with that segment. I think I should have made it a heated confrontation or something of that effect. But either way, the final rating of the show was a 75, and it lost us popularity in one region. Look, I know, okay, fine. I know when you lose popularity, it was a bad show. You're right. I lost popularity, it was a bad show. I'm looking forward to the pay-per-view. Being honest, I'm looking forward to the pay-per-view because Night of the Legends, I hope, will be a turning point for the series to where the following night on Nitro, I'll be able to sit here and say that not only did we gain fans, just gain fans on Nitro at Night of the Legends, but also we gained fans on Nitro, and then we proceed to gain fans on Thunder, to where my ideas are getting over, my direction, revamped direction of the company is getting over, and we see that happen. Because if my direction does not get over, this, well, it could lead to changes being made in how long this Let's Play actually goes. Because if I'm doing more harm than good, I may just be embarrassing myself by putting it up. So let's just see how good we do at Night of the Legends and after that, because Rome wasn't built in a day, and my new direction can't be put into effect in one night or one episode of Nitro, because number one, it ain't 3 hours, and two, changes take time. So with that being said, let me know down in the comment section below what your favorite part of the show was, and also let me know what your least favorite part of the show was, and what you would have done differently if you were me. And if that wasn't enough, also let me know if you have any thoughts on, possible feuds, or the seemingly new direction that I'm going with. Well, you noticed the new direction that I'm going with the lower card and the mid card, but the main event the new direction with the main event has not taken shape just yet. So let's, we gotta wait and see. We gotta wait for that. But either way, let me know down in the comment section below if you have any comments or suggestions of what you would like to see next in this Let's Play series. As feedback is always welcomed and appreciated, but if you don't want to leave a comment, you can always leave a like, or subscribe to the channel for more content just like this that you can only find right here at Wrestling Express. Till next time, later.